excited to be here today. So we want to learn about you, obviously, and we want to talk about this opportunity we thought about to offer to you. We're starting with your school first. So we thought if we bring students early on and we talk about what we do, and especially instructional designers, so we can maybe get a better talent. And we don't have to search for a very long time. We want to handpick our best talent. So today you are going to learn about the opportunity and also about us as a company, what we do, and then you can hopefully decide whether that's something that fits with your career development goals or something that you want to try, you want to do, and you can ask your questions. Okay? So we want to start by going through our agenda. As instructional designers, you need to know exactly what we're going to cover today. So we'll talk about, first of all, why we're here, about the opportunity, who we are. I don't know how many of you have heard about us and you know what we do and who we are. Have you heard of Alan.com? Okay, one person too. Okay, remotely people, have you heard of Alan? Okay, no? Yes, okay. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what we do. I'll try to show you some work. It was hard for me to pick something to show because most of our work is proprietary. We do custom training for our clients, and so we're not allowed to show a lot of stuff. So, but I tried to pick some things to show. And then we'll talk just a little bit about how we do it. Like we'll talk about our team and our process and processes. And then we'll talk more about this opportunity, and then we'll get to, we'll give you some more details and you'll be able to ask your questions. Okay? Great. So, wrong direction, this way. So first of all, who I am. I actually went to Utah State. In Logan. I started in '97, and my professors were Dave Merrill. Have you heard of Dr. Dave Merrill, of course, component display theory, and Dr. Gibbons, of course, and so many good professors. So I'm so lucky to have to be in that program, to learn a lot from those people, my professors. So it was a good program that time. Which kind of, it changed a little bit, but it was very good in those days. So when I was still in school, actually, at that time we had quarters, not semesters. So I started looking for some opportunities for me because I was like, okay, I'll be done with my school. What's next for me? What I was going to do? So I would start actually looking for some opportunities. I remember I even approached my professors, Dr. Gibbons especially, and they were giving me some directions where to go and what to do. And so I had actually 2 internship opportunities, and I chose one, which was actually in Richland, Washington. It was an e-learning company, and they were doing most of their work for government, for the Hanford Nuclear Reservation site. So I actually moved there. I did my internship there. I did my project. I came back. I defended, got my degree, but I didn't want to go back because the area, and so I was looking for something else here. I found another job in Orem. In fact, I'm going to come back to Orem, remember that. But I found a job there. I wasn't very excited because, instructional design field was a little bit new at that time, and the employer wanted me to actually code. And, for my school projects, I did I used a lot of authoring tools. But I wasn't a coder, I wasn't a programmer. So anyway, I was a little bit frustrated. So I'm still looking for an opportunity. In fact, I forgot to mention, when I was still in school, we had a very good connection with Allen Communication at that time. Dr. Merrill was bringing some of their tools, Allen.com tools. They had a lot of software, Manager's Edge, Designer's Edge. They had a proprietary authoring tool called Quest. You wouldn't know because it was a long time ago. But we were using those tools for our projects, for our school projects. So I heard about Allen, and we had a lot of guest speakers from Allen. So I knew about that company. So then when I was frustrated with the Orem company, I really wanted to go back to Allen, and I applied, and I got accepted. And I stayed here for 19 years. Couldn't believe that, but I think I found what I was looking for. It was my passion. It was like the right place for me to be. So that's about me. And now I want to learn a little bit about you. So first of all, obviously you're here, and I don't know, I put 2015 plus. Maybe it was you started earlier or later, but what are your career goals? What are you thinking? Are you all instructional designers, first of all, or you came from other departments as well? I mean, I know your department is called instructional psychology and technology. So how many do we have? Like, how many of you are instructional designers? Okay. Okay, so tell me more. Like, who wants to tell the story? What are you thinking? How long have you been in the program, and how do you feel about your career? Yes, please.
I'm a second-year master's student.
What's your name?
Alyssa.
Lisa?
And I worked for Independent Study, the online courses here at BYU for a while. Now I'm working for the church doing video development and some e-learning things as well. And I want to be an instructional designer as well.
Okay, great. Anything else? Do any of you have any industry experience besides school?
Danny, so I did the master's degree here several years ago, and then I worked as an instructional designer for UVU and now for government contracts as just training
Okay.
for the last 7 or 8 years or so. And then I came back to the PhD.
Okay, you're on the pages right now. Okay, great. Anybody else? Yes, please.
I've been working as an instructional designer for the past couple of years at the Missionary Training Center, just developing curriculum and in-person training, that sort of thing. Yeah, we've actually worked with Alan a little bit.
Oh, you did?
For a research project, we hired Alan to.
Oh, that's right, with Brian Walsh.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I know what that's right. Okay, wonderful. So,
Jacob.
Jacob. We don't have audio.
Oh, I just wrote what I wanted to say. I started as an instructional designer for a few years, and now I'm moving to academia and organizational behavior. So I love instructional design and what it offers, but I'm moving in a different direction.
Okay, that's fine. That's great. That's exactly why we're here. We want to make sure that you see what's happening in a corporate world, and then you can actually decide, like, you know, where do you think where your interests are, where your heart is, and but it's good kind of to know what's out there, or you know, what potential you know, different jobs will have for you in the future. So hopefully we can answer that question. But if you have any other questions, please keep that in mind, and then we can always ask those. So let's move forward. So I thought we just kind of start talking about the opportunity first, before you even learn about what we do. First of all, I wanted to kind of let you know what's in it for you, what you're going to get from this opportunity. Obviously, build your practical experience, because you know, yes, at school we will learn a lot about theories and kind of in a kind of a more abstract way how things work. You know, sometimes our instructors will bring some real life examples. Sometimes we have some projects, but it doesn't seem real. At least it wasn't real for me when I was in school. When I started working there in any of the organization that I worked, it was kind of a culture shock for me, almost like, you know, oh, that's not what we were supposed to do. I mean, everything was ideal, right, at school, but in real world that doesn't work like that. So you have clients, demanding clients, and you know, you have to kind of compromise, and you have to consult with them. You have to really use your knowledge about theories, what you learn about school, and also add that practical knowledge to be able to even think about like how we do those things. and what are we all about? Because, we are not content experts, usually. In fact, when I talk about Alan, you'll see that we work with any company, with any industry, with any content, on any subject matter. So we don't specialize in any particular content, but we still design, and we still design very, very good. So you'll create a professional network. You'll be able to meet a lot of people, not just instructional designers, but other functions as well in our company. Validate your professional goals. Again, we talked about this a little bit. Is this something you want to do as a career? Do you want to choose the corporate world or academia? And it's fine, whatever you choose, right? But it will help you kind of validate. One of the experts. Again, I mentioned that we have the best talent in the valley, or maybe in the whole country. And then you get paid. You make sure that it's good. And then what's in there for us? Like I said, we want to partner with universities because, a lot of times we get a lot of projects all of a sudden. Clients remember, like, we need training, we need right now. And then our company is not very big. And so all of a sudden we have to really bring our, replenish our team. And so we're looking for instructional designers or performance consultants or other functions, especially instructional designers. So it's really hard for us just to hire someone without, really taking some time and to really picking the right people, because it's unfair for our clients and for people without having that experience to put them on the cloud right away. So provide direction and expectations early on. We want to invest in potential new hires, because without investing you can't get the talent we thought. And then we can recruit back the right talent when the time is right for the talent and for us as well. There's no guarantee, obviously. I can't promise that everybody will be hired, but at least we'll have this opportunity, chance to validate our priorities. Is it clear? Okay. I thought I just wanted to spell it out, put it out there so everybody sees why we're doing this all of a sudden. This is our first time, so we are. So we've been around since 81, I guess. I don't know if you've heard of the Allen brothers. That's why we have the name Allen Communication. Now it's called Allen It's Allen Communication. So two brothers started their business from their garage in Colorado. One of them was an instructional designer, Rex Allen, and the other one, Steve Allen, was actually had a music major. So they created this first interactive video system, and it was such a big deal at that time because, can you imagine have a video that can be, you can touch it, you can interact with the video. So that was the first time. It was a large, I think we have it somewhere in our basement maybe, that first laser disc. So that's what it started, so with the hardware. And then we started focusing more on the software development. So like I said, we had the manager's edge, designer's edge, those tools, and then we also had the proprietary authoring tool, which was object-based, similar to, if you've heard a long time ago, authorware was very similar to authorware. But then later, they feel like, yeah, it was good to have our own tools, but we started kind of focusing more on the courseware side. So because again, instructional design was the primary passion for Rex Allen especially, and so we moved to the courseware side. And we started kind of doing a lot of award-winning designs, and again, most of our work was custom work for corporations, organizations, not just corporations, but also for academic institutions as well. And I'm not talking, I'm trying to kind of really keep this short. We had some acquisitions and so forth, but we had a management buyout in early 2000, 2001. So we used to be publicly traded company, now we're a privately owned company. And so now we are experts in our field. It's a unique company, and I can tell you, I go to a lot of conferences. And I always think, okay, we've done this before, we were doing this 2 years ago. And so, I mean, of course I'm getting ideas, but I still feel like we are the best because we have the best talent, we have the innovative team, creative team, and in fact, our clients also push us to do both more and better. Okay? So that's who we are, and I have a short video to show. This is one of our kind of trailers. Again, I'm not going to show the whole thing, just the flavor. I hope I can show some other videos. Okay, let's see.
Pretty inspiring.
Okay, so let's talk about our clients. Who are they? Almost every organization have their learning and development team. Those are their instructional designers, trainers, and a lot of times their project managers are coming from this learning and development team. They work very closely with their business units within the organization. And those units, when they need training, they go first to the learning and development team and they request training. So most of their training is either instructor-led or they usually use kind of template-based library and they use either Storyline or kind of industry standard tools, Captivate, because they need to update. They don't have the same talent as we do. They don't have the same capacity. So they just put something quickly in. And their training, when they come to us, it's very, very much like a PowerPoint. Very linear, lots of text, lots of content. So that's what they usually do within a company. Let's say there is a need for a different kind of training. What I mean by that, usually the companies change their business processes, change their software. There's some kind of a change that triggers this need for training. And that's when they start looking for a third-party vendor who can make this training really effective and a training that works actually because it has high visibility and high stakes. So that's when they come to us and that's when they say we want innovative solution. We want agility, we want credibility. So we have our talent, but we need something else, we need something more. And that's why they come to us. So those are kind of like the state when the clients come to us, that's what they're looking for. Yes?
You've mentioned a few times e-learning. Is that your guys' primary focus as you produce direct instruction through e-learning modules?
Good question. Actually, yes, we produce any type of training, but about, I would say, maybe 90% is e-learning. We do some classroom training. A lot of times it's a mix, it's a blend. Sometimes we do just instructor-led training. And sometimes the client, they don't know what kind of training they need. They come to us and the whole project is needs analysis. Or like the gentleman said, it can be just a research-based training, or not training, but a research-based project. But yes, you're right. Most of it is a yes.
What are the main authoring tools that you guys are using?
Good question. So we have, we look into different tools, and we have our own. It's not a tool per se, it's more like a process and enabling tool. We used to have one that was Flash-based, but Flash is fun, obviously. So we have, we call it CW tool, but it's HTML-based, Flash-based. And our designers, our writers actually scroll directly into the tool. So it's an authoring tool, and we always add more activities to the library. And when we publish, it publishes as a responsive course that can be run on different devices. Sometimes the client will come to us and they'll request for a specific tool because that's what they have in-house they want to maintain themselves. So we'll use Captivate or Storyline or those are the most of those, the common ones that we use for the clients. But we can do much more with our own tool. Okay. So just a little bit about what makes us successful. Our reputation, obviously, it's about our expertise, how many years we've been in this business, and our people, obviously. Like I said, we have people, a lot of talent. So we work with very top companies in this country, and so they come to us for a reason. And we really need to give them solutions. We are a solution-based. We don't want to call ourselves vendors, we call ourselves partners. We want to partner with those companies. We have some complex organizations. We have like this $1 million curriculum from Morgan Stanley started last year. And when they come to us, they say, like, this audience, they're financial advisors, they don't like any training. We try different kinds of training. They don't accept any training because they are actually experts in their field. And so they are resistant to training. So you have to design such a training that will engage them, that will change their mindset, to look at things differently, to try different things. So it's been going on, and actually we won at least one award, industry award, with this course. Lots of challenges with AT&T. They came to us and they wanted some kind of an innovative solution for their salespeople, and we offered a virtual reality with 360 video, and we did that one. It did very well. We still continue working with them. So this is the approximately 250 projects and 7 clients per year. That's what we get, basically. It's a lot of work. And then we have a lot of long-term relationships. We get a lot of new clients, brand new clients, but we also have long-term relationships with some of our clients. So I have the list is over there. Okay. This is our office. This is our home.
Are you just reading every word you guys got?
You
got it. I got it.
People. 2014. I remember June. So we actually own this building. And you can see it now maybe, but we have this wall of fame. We have all our awards. We actually can with more awards if the clients let us submit those courses. Because again, it's a proprietary reason. We take some of the holidays very seriously. So, Halloween is a big deal, and just people get so creative. And then obviously we have this obvious weather contest, and this is loose. But yeah, we want to have fun too. So it's not just work, we want to have fun. So this is our lobby. We have lots of conference rooms. We have a 2-story building, and this is our break room. So you want to just talk a little bit about our fun stuff, activities. What we do in break room.
Hello, can you hear me? Well, my name is Lara, and I've been with Allen for about 4 years. I am in charge of talent management and employee engagement, so I get to do the fun part, right? Plan all the parties and celebrations, and also I get to meet all the potential new employees. So I love my job. I should start by saying that. I'm really proud to work at Allen Communication, really proud to work with such a talented group of individuals and leadership, and I'm the biggest cheerleader when it comes to meeting new candidates and bringing them on board. So our break room. So this is where all the fun stuff happens. Usually we have a welcome for new employees, we have treats, we have several clubs, so it's pretty much communities of interest. We have a donut club, we have the salad club as well, so we have a little for everyone, right? No bias. You have, that's a good idea. Hey, noted. We have people who play games, table games or board games during lunch. And there's a little bit of everything. We have our Star Wars, the Star Trek, our comics, cartoons, all sorts of crowds, right? So here's where everything happens. And we gather here for any sort of celebrations. Usually we have once a month activities around any sort of holiday. like Anna mentioned, we take our celebrations very seriously, and they are the staple of our culture. We get very creative, very competitive. We have awesome prizes and awards as well. So you get to see how Halloween plays out every single year. So we're up in the game. And this is coming from someone who was not used to celebrate Halloween at all until I joined Allen. So this is a whole new world for me. Anyway, so that is just a little bit of what we do. One of our owners says, we work hard, but we play hard as well. And that's just a little taste.
I know it doesn't have a lot of like trees and people there, but just you can imagine, right? Okay. Okay.
It gets too crazy that you couldn't really show the real part. Just had to show a clean shot.
Yeah, definitely. It's out of hand.
So just to continue our discussion about how we decide, what are the trends? You heard about industry trends. Every year we publish, a lot of companies publish those trends. But we also use some research, we use some numbers. We know that mobile is spreading, and people want to get access to their training anytime, anywhere, at their fingertip. And that's why we want to make sure that our training is responsive, even though the clients are saying, we don't need responsive. Our employees are going to use just a desktop or a computer or a laptop. This will change. This may change. So why we should not even consider it, because people, how many people not have, actually I should say, smartphones here, right? Okay. I don't know here. Personalization. The thing is, when we look at our learners, we usually roll out our training to thousands of people. It's not a small group. I mean, the smallest can be maybe 150 people. But it's a mass training, right? So how do you personalize that training? Because people need to feel like this is for me, especially if it's e-learning, it's one-to-one. And so they really need to feel like we're speaking to them. This training is for them. You're helping me be better. So that's a challenge, but we have some strategies how we achieve that. And then we started using more video. We hired our video producer. We were using video before, but we had a vendor. Now we have our own video studio, a video production studio, video producer. So we do a lot of work for video as well. Micro-learning, social learning, performance support, personalization, content curation, gamification, simulation, 360 video, and VR. So that's kind of who our main kind of work goals. We like showing this slide because we want to see what our competitors do. So this is what their courses look like. Again, when clients come to us, they bring their existing training. Obviously, sometimes it's just a PowerPoint, but if we see some of our competitors' work, sometimes it looks dated, very heavy themed, passive and linear, lots of content. Our training, and I actually have a video, I don't think I can show it, but our training is performance-based, performance-focused. Our training is responsive. So you can use this training on a computer, or you can use the same training on a mobile device. So it's not adaptive, it's responsive. And relevant. This is our performance-centered LX. So even if this happened last year, we came up with this different UX or LXs, learner experience or user experience, we call it LX, where we thought about different kinds of navigation, different kinds of layouts. So we've used the Google Material Design, and we currently offer the fluid grid layout that has the scroll navigation. People are accustomed to using web nowadays, so it's very web-like. We have the, sometimes for some of our content-heavy courses, we have a different one, which is fluid and columnar layout. So we have the other option. And then we came up with this one recently, the Zoom, which has the zoom in and zoom out kind of thing. So my point is we always innovate. It's not just technology, it's instructional designers. It's what learners need. What will make the learning more accessible, more interactive, more engaging. That's what we're all about. We're talking about video, so our video is in context, it's interactive, mobile ready, we have a lot of storytelling. We try to avoid lecture-based tutorials. We actually call it modeling. We want to model for people how to do things, but the video by itself is not instruction. It can be instruction if you add the practice activity, if you know that they learned something, right? Because how do you know that they learned? You can watch the same video 15 times, but can you do it yourself? And again, video by itself, we don't just take the media, we make it instructionally sound, basically. Okay? And I don't think I can play. Well, let me try one more time.
Hey there, we are excited at the prospect of partnering with the AACN to design a dynamic and really transformative learning experience for critical care nurse managers. Such an important job, and we've been working with our
Okay, good thing that this one worked. She's our video producer, by the way. She's actually a reporter herself, so she does an amazing job with our interviews. See if I can maybe show this one.
You can improve the lives of individuals every day. Your commitment to serve people combined with Western Mountain Healthcare's insurance expertise creates positive experiences for each member. That's why our training connects member experiences with claims. To build your expertise, get ready by exploring a member's story. Set your knowledge with interactive forms. And practice new skills as you go forward. Still have questions? Join your peers in the classroom where instructor-led discussions and activities allow you to dig deeper so you can confidently handle special cases. Or maybe you need a competitive push. Turn up the fun with a new style and choose a coach to take you through. Ready, set, go. To get ready, select parts of a member's experience to see the story behind the claim form. Your coach provides key tips along the way to help you get familiar with the form and understand the why behind it all. Then up the difficulty as you set your knowledge. Use your coach and other tools to help.
I'm going to stop here, but you can see that this is an example of a very boring compliance course. How to use this form, how to process claims. And so when a client came to us, or any clients came to us, they're saying, this is not working. We were telling our learners, users, what to do, and they're not doing it. So how do we, knowing who the learners are, as you know, it makes a difference. You know, we talk about young people just out of school. It's a boring, long training. So that's why we added those characters. We want to make sure that they have some fun, they interact, they play game. You know, I know this is a serious topic, but we also wanted to show who's behind those claims. Those are people, people's lives they're dealing with. And if we made a mistake, is what can happen. So there's an emotional aspect that we're trying to create within our course. We're trying to personalize by bringing, you know, the human element to it and showing like how to think, not because that's actually number one problem with our learners, critical thinking. We can show them and tell them what to do, like the procedure-wide and processes and so forth. But that's not really the problem. They can learn that by doing homework times. It's about thinking. Okay. So let's see if I can get out of here. So, but then at least I showed you some examples. So this is a quote from our client, Thomson Reuters, after a video. And we love this quote by the clients and this to us all the time. Key counts. Why I bring this up? Because again, I want you to know, like, you'll be working with those clients, those top companies. Interestingly, you know, sometimes I haven't heard about this company. After I had a project I started noticing that. Oh, yeah, they're obviously, you all know about Lego and Harley and, you know, but there are some that you haven't heard about. So this is just a quick case study about Harley Davidson. They came to us and they said our training for salespeople is not working. It's not working. That we're not selling. This is half product knowledge and half sales training, but our current training is not working. You need to help us. So the stakes were very high, as usual. As you know, a lot of stakeholders were involved. It had to be done very quickly, and we put a mindset shift, client from reactive to proactive. That was our goal, to make sure that the client is proactive and helps us, and the learners from product first to customer first. That's what we're trying to change. Okay, the mindset. Strategy, break it down, edit up. So we just needed to really make sure that this resonates with our learners and they pay attention and they actually follow our instructions. And then the value we added, critical thinking framework, strategic reach media, learner-friendly design. Obviously, it's more than just reach media. It helped really engage our learners, and we just had one number. A lot of times we asked our clients to send us the results. Like when your learners take the training, like in 3, 6 months, 8 months, a year, we want you to send us the results, like want to know whether the training worked or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but sometimes just they send us the completion kind of, which is not necessarily a good indication. But in this case, it was because it's not a mandatory training, it's on a voluntary basis. Before they had like 11% completions, and I think it went up to 75 or something like that. So you can tell that people were more engaged and they got that. So there's a quote from that. Okay, that was a win. And then just kind of again to show you different solutions we come up with for different companies. Just type of training, type of solutions they're looking for. So it kind of gives you an idea. This is agriculture and food. Others can be kind of a mix here, different kind of training. But again, we work with any company. We try to quickly learn their content as much as possible, but give you a secret. You don't have to know all the content in order to design a good course. You need to know certain things, obviously, mainly what the performance problem is. And then you can design a solution. I mean, the details will come later when you start building the course, obviously. So let's move forward. And we have a lot of time. So how we do this? Let's talk about our team. So we have different departments. We're going to talk about a courseware team. We have 4 main disciplines, main groups: the project management group, instruction design, technical, and creative services, art and visual and motion. So I highlighted the instructional design group. So we have performance consultants. Those are our senior instructional designers. And they are doing more analysis, more upfront design, more conceptual design. Working very closely with instructional designers who will be mostly facilitating the development process. And then we have the writing team, the writers who are helping us with scripting and building the course. Okay. So if we go through, another project team, let's say we get a new project and we assign the project to the team. The core team is a project manager and instructional designer. Each project manager has 2 instructional designers at least on their team, and they handle multiple projects. So when we assign a new project to this team, the project manager requests other leads: performance consultant, technical lead, art lead, and then we have video producer. But those 3, why I highlighted those, because those are the client-facing people. So the clients sometimes will come to our office for the first design workshop, before design workshop meeting. Or oftentimes we will travel to the client site. And those are usually those 3 team members who interact with the client, especially if they go to that first meeting. So this is, you don't have to necessarily look at this process, but just look at the 2 kind of two phases. The first one, define design and create. So if you take this one, the first one, define and design, this is when we start a project, this is when we design the solution, this is when we do the analysis. And the two key milestones are the design workshop. This is our first and sometimes the only interaction, face-to-face interaction with the client. And the second, the last one is a design blueprint. This is what we produce at the end of our design phase. This is the spec document, basically what we're going to do before we actually develop it. So again, we have these three key team members. This is when we bring the technical lead out with the video producer because we need their expertise as well. We're not designing in the vacuum. We need to make sure that the visuals, they align with the client specifications and their branding requirements. And we have actually, it's not just branding requirements. We make some decisions what visuals we need to choose to supplement our instructional design. And so they provide rationale, the art leads provide rationale why they chose those colors or those visuals. The same with the technical lead. They're doing the architecting technical design. And then we have video, obviously, we have to design that video. It's not just about producing, you have to design the video, again, to really enrich and supplement your instructional design with training. So this is actually a real pictures from our design workshops. There's a reason why we call it workshop. It's not a meeting. We want the clients to really be engaged and participate. So you can see that we are so involved. We talk about the learning and development team, the subject matter experts who come to our workshop. So if they engage them early on, if they think like us, you'll have an early buy-in from them. So for the design and for our process, and then we build our credibility with them easier that way. We engage them first interacting. Yes.
Could you touched on it, but could you describe in more detail what the role of the performance consultant is?
Sure. So, performance consultants are usually involved heavily in the space when we do analysis and they facilitate this particular phase of the design. Although they're working very closely with instructional designers, because we don't want just to hand off the design to them and say, go and build it. They're still involved, but they are the thought leaders at this point. They are deciding, they're consulting with the client, they're doing the concept, they're architecting the design, basically. It's about, if it's a curriculum, it's what should be included in the curriculum and why, in what sequence, in what order, what instructional strategies we're using, theories we're using, models we're using, what activity selection we're making here and why. So a lot of times our clients who can be instructional designers, they're questioning like, why we're doing this, why we have to do this, how do we know that this will work? How do we know that this is the best solution? So they are consulting a lot. They are really the thought leaders, and they provide the rationale, and they pitch a design to the client. They come back, again, they both work on a design blueprint document, but again, they set the stage. They give you the skeleton and all the components, and then the instructional designers will fill that in. Okay, the instructional designers know the tools better. They work closely with the production team. The performance consultants may not know necessarily the details of how this activity works. They bring the idea mostly. Okay? But we need them because we also have the scope. We can't just freely design whatever we want. We want to get the best idea and scale it down to fit with our scope. That's a challenge, but we do that.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the second phase, the create phase, the development phase, this is where we have this team member who runs the show. We still have the performance consultant available if we need to bring them in to check on the design. Sometimes the clients during the reviews will ask to make some changes or add more content. They may break the design. So we need to really consult with our performance consultant to make sure that we're not breaking the design there. But they're running the show, they work with all these team members to make sure that they execute on that design during this phase. Again, I'm just cutting this very short, obviously, there's more there, but so you can kind of have an idea about these roles. We have two BYU graduates. They just started working there in our company about 2-3 months ago. Alyssa and Sam, we love them, by the way. And so I asked them to provide some thoughts for you here. All this helps. They also said you can call them if you need to talk to them. Okay, or email. Okay. Any questions? I don't know about, he said they will know. Yeah. Just show them. They'll know. Okay, what's next? So before we get to the nitty-gritty and who should consider the internship, do you have any questions about what we do, Alan, our process, our team, our work, our clients? Yes.
Do you have any remote designers, or are all of your designers in office every day?
The latter. We have all of our designers in the office. The reason is because we don't work in vacuum, we interact a lot. And I can show you a lot of our processes because we can have a brainstorming session in the middle of the day. We have to bring the team members to have a solution there. The client calls, something is not working, we have to get together, we have to decide. I'm not saying it can be done remotely, but that's the way we work.
You prefer?
Yes. Okay. Luce, I think the next one. And again, we talked about this, but think about what are you gaining by doing this internship. Obviously, it has to be beneficial from both sides, but mostly, is it valuable for you? Are you wasting your time, or you're actually learning more and you are crafting your future? So, I'm going to give you the microphone so you can talk more about the details.
Okay, can you hear me? That's good. So, this is the first time we're offering internship, instructional design internship for potential candidates to work at Alincom. And we are very excited because we will have the opportunity to tailor the experience for each of your needs. Now, the most important thing will be for you to consider if you are serious about pursuing an instructional design career in the corporate world. You're going to have first-hand experience and you're going to be exposed to big projects with our clients. You may not be able to stay in for the entire process from beginning to end because some of our projects take longer than the time you're required for your internship, but you're going to be exposed to the fast-paced environment, the highly collaborative environment, and consultative. So it will be just a big eye-opener for you on what will be to transition from your seats here to the real world. And if you have a very strong interest in Alincom, this is the place where you want to be. We are a leading company in the field, and you are going to get to work with very talented individuals. Graphic designers, programmers, project managers, other performance consultants, and instructional designers. You will also be exposed to the career path that you could follow, starting if you're interested as a part-time writer, moving into instructional designer, and then moving into performance consultant, or even as a senior design consulting, supporting the sales team. So there's a pathway for you to develop and grow within the company as well. Internship is the best way for you to start, get your foot at the door, and if eventually when you graduate are ready to start working with us, we will have already established that relationship and we will be ready to get you going with your employment. So, there we go, thanks. What's the process? Pretty much I will be the person to contact. I have some business cards here for you. And the selection process, we are going to use the same we use for our applicants. So the first step will be for you to take a long writing test, And it is really important because that's a big part of what you're going to be doing as an instructional designer or developing content for the clients. After you take the test, you will meet with me, usually for another 30 to 45 minutes. And then we get to talk about your goals, your experience, your any questions you may have about the role, the specific day-to-day, and the team and the environment and the culture about the company. The start and end dates are going to be the same as any deadlines you may have to apply for other internships or before you start the semester. So those are fine details that we can talk and discuss when the time is appropriate. Expected hours per week, again, is going to be based on your availability because we understand you're going to be commuting from school to downtown Salt Lake City. Could be any time, any number of hours as long as you're going to be able to complete the 126 hours, I think, during the semester. Your responsibilities and our commitment to you are going to be very detailed at the beginning of your internship. You're going to be pretty much working with a coach, another instructional designer, or a project manager, and also I will be your point of contact to, throughout your internship, make sure that you are achieving your goals. What type of expectations you have and how you're going to meet those expectations at the end of your internship. Any questions so far? No? Okay. There you go. So that's all I have for now. I have a few printouts with the job descriptions for the different roles: part-time writer, instructional designer, and performance consultant. I have my business cards, and also I have a list where you can write down your information, your name, your phone number, and your email. And you can also get in touch with me if you have any further questions. If you want to come and visit and tour our office, I will be more than happy to help you with that. And if you have any other questions.
Let's, just before we do that, let's thank Luz and Anna for coming. So those who have to get other classes,